All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to People in the Boxes, episode 117. It is Thursday night, 8 o'clock. Actually, it's 8:10 now, 7:10 in the mountain time. So cheers, everybody. Hit that like button. Share us out with your friends. Let's go.
Welcome to People in the Boxes.
All right. What's up, everybody? We got Red Six. We got Kim Axtell with us tonight. And we're hoping to hear from you all out there. We have our link pinned in the Facebook page. People in the Boxes. It's all about getting perspective, bringing up multiple people to, talk about your experience on the topic. And of course, you can do that from the comments as well. And I'm gonna cheers to this dab. Red Six, what's up, man?
How's it going? Good.
How's
everybody doing tonight?
Who won the giveaway tonight? Cheers.
Doug Green.
Doug Green, okay.
Yeah.
If you're a veteran, you need to get in over there on Boots to Bushes. Get in on some weekly giveaways on Thursday nights.
I got 3 packages here to ship out. So
I have like 100.
yeah,
It's
I'm not big
slowly
time like you
becoming.
yet.
Yeah, well, it's becoming slowly a thing that I am finding impossible now because of this vehicle
cheaper just to
situation.
buy one of them postage things that you can print out your own stamps.
Oh, that's true. Now I can print everything out. I just take it in, but I can't. The taking it in part is the hard part right now. What's up, Ty?
You can schedule pickups.
I don't know how. I've tried to do it. They can't tell me at the office.
Where are you purchasing your postage from?
USPS.
I think if you use Ship Pirate, I have a Ship Pirate. If you use Ship Pirate, I think you can schedule. I think there's a function in there to have them pick it up.
Yeah, and I do have an account. I should maybe look into it. I was so used to using this thing called Click and Ship in the USPS. It does the same thing. I still get that deal and stuff, but I don't. But I do know someone else that does the pirate ship and gets the pickup scheduled. So I don't know. I've heard that I can just hand it right to the mailman, but I don't think they want all the hat boxes. That'd be
you can, but it's kind of a pain in the ass to catch them.
What I was gonna do is I'm gonna talk to him one day, warn him about the next day, right? Like, hey, tomorrow I'm gonna have some packages for you. I think that's what I'm gonna do.
Send an extra truck.
Yeah, send
Sometimes
right.
what I do, because I don't know what, do you have like an individual mailbox or a community one?
Yeah. No, it's an individual.
So what I do, we have a community mailbox, and if I can't get it out at work, which is usually what I do, then what I do is I take a piece of tape and I stick it to the community mailbox and I put a note on it saying something like outgoing mail, please take. Like that.
For sure. I think that makes sense. But my mailbox broke recently, the handle. So I have to, I don't know why that's relevant, but it's broken mailbox now. What's up, Elisa, Kasia, Rose, Brenda, Ty, Kayla, Trent? What is up, Derek? Terry. Let's see, Kristen, Margaret Jet, Perrywood. I'm going up the list here. Black Lopez, nobody. Who else we got? Jess is in here. I think that's it. Awesome. Appreciate you guys coming through and hitting those comments and the like button. You'll get in on a giveaway. We're going to do a game night ticket tonight. Congratulations to the winner so far this week on the number wheels. We're going to do another number spin tonight too. So we got Tommy McKetta and Tabby Dabby Doo, who both won so far this week. We've also got some other news quickly to say. I did get an order in for the Indoor Farmer magnets. Boom.
Where are you getting those?
They're this same size, so I could have gotten smaller ones for cheaper, but I like this size. Say again.
Where are you getting those made at?
This is coming from Gem City Lids, the same place I got my hat from, the same place that the Soil King gets his hat from, his hats, and that is my man Philip down there, who's also married to another sponsor from Superior Wreaths and Engraving.bigcartel.com. Shouts out to all of them. You know Gem City Lids, don't you, Red Six?
Yes. I mean, I don't know him personally, but I have
Sure.
seen him out and
Seen them
about.
around.
Yeah.
Tonight's topic, I guess we'll get into it. Trust. I thought about it and was like, when you say, "Yeah, I trust you," what does that mean? Yeah, like, oh, I trust that person. What are you trusting them to do? What are you trusting them about? Like, what is it? So I thought about it. And I was like, well, usually you can trust a thing, right? You can trust something about them. No, I don't mean a thing like a noun. I mean, like, you can pick a thing about. I can trust Red Six is going to be passionate about veterans. I cannot but trusting somebody in general is different. Like, I can't trust you to the point where I know I can call you tomorrow for a ride because I have no idea what you're doing tomorrow. You know what I mean? And that's the point, is like, you have to choose what is it that you're like. When people have friends and they're like, well, I trust my friends, but then my friends never didn't show up and help me or whatever it is. Like, do you trust them to be on time? Do you trust them to be helpful, or do you trust them as being good people? Like being a good person, I think is what people are talking about when they say, I trust you or whatever. Ty, what's up? I got the link pinned. It's butt cheeks, one world, or should I spread them apart? One word. Oh, I see. Ooh. I feel like you should just keep one space between them. Don't spread them any further apart. That's what I'm gonna go with on that one. What's up, Scroy? What's up, Terry? Thank you, man. Appreciate it. When you say it like that, just means you believe they're gonna follow through with what they say. Well, okay. Well, that's about a specific situation. So, like, if Red Six says, "Hey, man, let me hold it out. Homie, let me hold $1. I'll pay you back on Friday." Then I say, "Okay, I trust you." That's about that situation, like you're talking about, Elisa May. But if someone says, "Hey, you ever heard of this Red Six guy?" Like, yeah, man, I trust him. Like, that's in general, right? That's me going, yeah, everything I can think of in my head, I can trust him about. But that doesn't mean I can trust him to make me a souffle or whittle a little horsey, that rocks, a rocking horse. Smashley, what's up?
In my opinion, trust has a lot to do with integrity and character.
Yeah, but so I agree. At the same time, though, I think humans, to a primal extent, you mostly can trust people to do what is in their best interest when it comes down to it. And I don't mean in a nefarious way. I mean, like, if there's an emergency happening, you got to throw your own oxygen mask on first, kind of thing, right? The whole on an airplane, you got to put your own on first. Well, you should trust that, like, over most other things. There's very few people that are going to put themselves in harm's way first. And I guess we're all military here, so we kind of know that to an extent. But even though we get put in harm's way, we still weren't being reckless. I mean, maybe some soldiers are, but those are where you have that. You have that what's the term, like self, or like, I don't know if it's masochism or the soldier that develops the want to hurt themselves. Obviously, we talk about suicide, but not just suicide. The putting yourself in harm's way is a different thing. What do you call that? It's being suicide. Well, maybe it's being suicidal still, but I don't know. I'm not sure. The difference. You know what I mean, Kim? Like, we all seem to choose it at times, but we don't. it's very few people that will just literally, you know,
I think that there's people that have heroic personalities. I don't know if that's what you're getting at. Like
I
I
guess
have,
agree.
I have a heroic personality.
Link doesn't work. Oh, let me try it again.
I have a heroic personality.
Or brave, you think? Is it bravery?
I don't think it's bravery. I think it's more of, I don't know how to explain it. Like when I think I was in middle school or it might have been high school, somewhere around in there, like 8th, 9th grade somewhere. And there was we were all at so the movie theater in my community would, after the movie was done, they would shut the theater down and then they would have like a dance. It's
A
kind of
sock hop.
kind of like a social club thing.
A sock hop. Come on.
And
No?
so no, it wasn't like that. But so one time I was there and I had this friend and she was a cheerleader and she was a really nice girl and everything. And there was these girls that were older, that were like 19 and older, and they were threatening to kick her ass. And I found out about it and I went out there and I was like, don't you fuck with my friend. You come get me. I'll take care of you. You don't mess with her. She's a nice little girl. I don't know why you're picking on her in the first place, but leave her the fuck alone. Because if you don't, I'm going to kick your ass. You know, and these girls are packing knives and shit. And like, I'm not afraid. So I don't
When was
know.
this?
Huh?
What grade were you in?
It's like 8th or 9th grade, somewhere around in there. I
Middle
think it was
school
9th grade. So I was like, what, 14, 15, something like that.
Like their switchblades and shit.
Yeah, they had switchblades and shit. And I'm not afraid of your fucking shit. I'm just like that. I'm fearless. And I've always been that way. Now, you know, if I see a situation and if it's like an injustice happening, somebody being bullied or whatever, I'm not afraid to stand up to that stuff. You know, and I'm not afraid to put myself out there. I think it has to do with confidence, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, are you the same way about everything? Say, like physical stuff, like, or have you been bungee jumping? Have you,
Oh,
you know,
no.
like, would you?
There's
You're not
no
like
way
that.
you're gonna get me to bungee jump. Nope.
Well, because that is a situation for trust to talk about. Like, I don't know if either of you done the trust fall in the military where they had these like platforms. No, you never did that.
No, I know what you're talking about.
We did it like one time. I didn't get to do. I think they just like they save time by like, okay, one person gets to do it, everyone else has to participate. But no, they what they do is they have these like platforms that that's protector type of mentality. Excuse me. They have these platforms that one person will stand on, and they let me set my diaper down. They'll stand there like this next to the edge. And everybody has to stand on the ground like in like a line on each side of where they're going to fall and hold their arms out. I don't know if we held arms. I can't remember, but it was called a trust fall. And it basically means that you had to trust your fellow soldiers or whatever, airmen, in order to trust them that they would catch you. And so that you could just let yourself fall. And that is hard to do.
Well, it's like doing a ropes. Have you ever done a ropes course?
I don't think so. We've had ropes in different courses, but I don't know. I've not heard of that exactly.
It's kind of along the lines of that. Like you have to rely on other people. Like you'll get up on these like in these crazy situations. They have these courses, or they used to. I don't know that they still do that anymore, but back in the 90s they had them.
Team building courses, kind of.
Yeah, they were team building. There was team in it.
Kind of reminded me of rappelling.
It was more in depth because like it was some of that stuff was really dangerous and you had to rely on each other to help each other in order to not get hurt.
You gotta trust in a lot of your gear too, that it's gonna work like it's supposed to when you need it to.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking about with bungee jumping. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. I I think the more you use that equipment and are around those people, Waylon, you've been there. When you go overseas and stuff like that, you're pretty much putting a blind trust in people you really don't even know. It's like Kim said, that they're going to have your back on something that you're not seeing. And,
Yeah.
The buddy in the foxhole kind of
yeah.
It's
thing. Who
funny.
do you want to be in the foxhole with?
I had a friend that that his closest friend was a professional skydiver. The guy was an engineer, but he was also a professional skydiver. No military experience, but anyway, he got killed doing a jump, and so it was his final jump. But he was not wearing his gear. It was a borrowed pack or something like that. And when the parachute deployed, it deployed backwards. It wasn't packed properly.
Right.
Wow, that reminds me of the in the overseas.
Yeah.
Wow. Sorry, I didn't mean to stop. I thought you were done. The armor, they call it an armor in the Army. Armor. I don't think it's an armorer, but I think it's an armor. And it's the person that deals with the weapons directly and the actual bullets and rounds.
Yeah.
And they had linked a
Be back.
Mark 19 grenade launcher. They had linked one of the grenades backwards, and it got clogged in the weapon. And this was the first grenade. So I think the whole link was wrong. And they had started.
So you can get them. They will turn.
We had I broke a multi-tool. Somebody broke my multi-tool trying to get it out. Man, like playing with a grenade, like it, it has to turn so many times to blow up, but still, that's live munitions. And
of course
they were trying to get it out because they went into we got to the next base, and you have to clear your weapon to get on base. And our whole convoy was being held up to get into the safe zone for them to get that grenade out, man. It was an intense situation just for having that one round loaded to be ready, and I don't know if what would have happened if they had to fire it, if they didn't know that. They didn't see it until they went to clear it, man. That's crazy.
That might cause it to explode, actually, with that fire.
That's scary.
Oh, there was a bunch of times like that with friendly fire, and they talk about trust. Like, man, we had this one time where these no offense ladies, but there was a female operating the Mark 19, accidentally fired it down the line of vehicles while they were trying to get on base again, clearing the weapons. Fired it, and it hits the side of this milk truck, and it didn't blow up because it didn't go far enough. But man, they got lucky. Like, holy cow!
Yeah.
Damn.
Be back in a bit. All right, Smash, going up. We're gonna do. Well, come on, you can do makeup on here if you want. This is more of a place to do makeup on versus the Grow Show on Monday. But we made it work, and it worked out pretty well. If you didn't see what they did.
I am still disappointed, Waylon, that I didn't know about the Soil King show, man. I can't believe that.
I didn't. Here's the thing. Without getting too into it, I couldn't use my normal intro, and that didn't give me much time to do many sharing out and stuff like that. So I didn't even actually get a chance to do an at everyone in my own group. I thought I put it in, and it didn't end up faking. And so
yeah, but I'm a milestone follower, so when you go live, it normally comes right up, like immediately. But with that Soil King, nothing. You were done with the show before it gave me notification. I was like, fuck. I would have loved to be in Patrick's ear for a minute.
Yeah, he also does his own podcast too. So
I know I watch.
Do it live though. Might not be live.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, it was good though. I'll probably have him on again. I'm sure he talked about like helping me get my whole living soil bed in this sort of perfect symbiosis where what he describes it as zero E. coli, 0.00 reading E. coli, which is pretty great. Hey, what's up, Elisa?
What's up?
Hey, lady.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. Long time no see. Besides on Facebook, of course.
Mhm.
You're so pink. Hi. Like a
I'm outside on my front porch under the purple spider web Halloween lights.
nice. I was actually thinking you're at like a dance party or a sock hop. One of Kim's sock hop.
I got socks. I could make them hop, but all the dancing part, I don't think I'm going to do that one.
I had a sock hop in middle school. So
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's the other thing, man. Like you talk about trust, like dance partner. To try dancing with somebody you don't like. Better hold me. Oh, whoops! You dropped. You ever been dropped on the floor, ladies, when dancing?
Nope.
Well, if you haven't, that's a good thing. Don't dance with me because I have dropped a few on the floor. Just saying.
I don't do dances where anybody's going to be picking my ass up.
I promise if my old lady had heard me say that, she'd be like, yeah, you did. I promise.
I remember when I was in the military, I had my roommate was a BB stacker. She drove one of those giant forklifts on like a 10K forklift or whatever, the really big ones. And
Yeah.
they called them BB stackers, but what their job was they loaded and stored bombs in igloos. And,
With the shipping connexes or no?
huh?
With the shipping connexes?
Shipping connexes.
Well,
No,
that
it was
forklift that picks up. Okay, I thought it was like we had the forklift that would pick up the shipping connexes, and that's like the biggest forklift I've ever seen.
No, they were like big things they drove. She would come home. She was my roommate. She would come back to the dorm, and she was this 6 foot tall, white hair, white blonde, blue eyed German girl, and she would come home, and she would be solid black from the diesel.
Lisa said hello.
Solid black.
But she talked about how sometimes they drop the bombs.
By
And she
accident.
said when a bomb got dropped, she said everybody held their breath.
Yeah,
Because they didn't just store just like bombs. They stored like, like, I don't know, regular munitions. Some of the stuff they had were nuclear warheads.
leaking some radiation, and let's face it, they put a little bit of nuclear or radiation, some kind of radiation in a lot of things like our phones, right? So what's to say not most bombs don't have at least some without being considered a nuclear munition.
Yeah, no, but these were nukes. And I remember I was out there one time. I can't remember why I went out there to the area where she worked, but there were igloos that had gone boom boom, that had exploded because of shit like that. So
you're talking about an igloo made of ice?
no, I'm talking about, they call them igloos where they store the bombs.
It's like a bunker in the side of the hill.
Yeah, they're like,
Okay.
Like
I
it
was
looked like a
wondering the
hangar.
same. Like, I thought there was a reason that they put them in igloos, like the cold kept them from exploding or something. I thought you was really talking about igloos.
Yeah, that's all I was thinking. I'm imagining like you got the North Pole and like those claymation characters,
Right.
and the reindeer come across the wrong igloo. Oh no,
Right.
Santa, we're not supposed to go in this.
no,
Facts.
they're big enough that it holds, I think it's a 10K. I want to say it's a 10K forklift, which is a really big ass forklift. It's like heavy equipment, kind of
Like a crane, basically. Crane.
Huh?
Like a crane almost.
No, it's like a forklift, but they're humongous.
I'm assuming the 10K is how many pounds it's rated for, like 10,000 pound lift or something.
I really don't know, to be quite honest with you. I don't know anything about that stuff, but I know that it was a giant. I'm pretty sure it was a 10K. She said remember she talked about it, and for some reason that sticks in my head. But
Sounds
Yeah.
But it was scary. She said it was really scary. She came home and said they dropped a bomb. And I was like,
nobody
She
moved.
literally dropped a bomb on me.
Yeah, and when you said that, it was just like I'm imagining them out on the ice with these igloos,
Right.
dropping the bomb in the snow. Like,
no,
You
we were
wasn't the only one, Waylon.
stationed at Lackland Air Force Base. This
Well,
is
right
at
up my alley.
Lackland.
They have a bunch of them there.
Sydney Paul, what's up, girl? We used to have nuclear bombs stored up in the Seneca Lake. Seneca. Very interesting place that the Army has now closed down. Yeah,
Can you
and then
see?
there's like
Can you see
hold on.
that?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a pretty big one, but not the biggest one.
Yeah, this is at 10K. And that's, I don't know if it's that exact one or not, but they're big.
Oh yeah, we use them in the motor pool all the time. Onyx,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
But that's what they would move the bombs around in the igloos with. Let me see if I can find an igloo.
Especially if it's not flat ground, like if they're driving around on like the ground and not like a smooth pavement, that's an off-road forklift. Oh, what is he chewing on, a human leg?
Can you see
Yeah.
this?
A rope.
Let me pull it up. Hold on.
So
Those are igloos.
these are what igloos look like. See how they're partially in the ground? They're big.
They do look like igloos
Yeah.
without ice and stuff.
Yeah.
It's funny where I live. There's hills to the west of here, about 1.5 miles. At one time, it was the Illinois River natural levee, but the folks that live along those hills have built mini houses just like that
Yeah.
into the side of the hills. Yeah, and I know one of them in Meredosia, Illinois, along the Illinois River. But one of the guys I know, Larry, he doesn't have to cool his house at all in the summer. Like it stays cool as shit down there, like too cool actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty well insulated. It's kind of along the lines of sod houses. Like, remember people that settled in the plains, like the Dakotas and the plains areas, built and lived in sod houses.
Yep.
And they're very, the Vikings did too. Some of their over in, I think in Newfoundland, I think they were kind of underground structures, but they're very,
I
very
saw that show.
for weather, and I don't know that I want to be living one if you live in a place that floods though. That'd be
that's where I live. I am what they call the river bottoms. Okay, so
hi everyone.
it literally every spring it floods. You can't get flood insurance on your house here. It's impossible.
Yeah, well, that's going to be the way it is in Florida with hurricane insurance.
Yeah. Hey, Smash Lake.
I worked in
Go ahead.
insurance company
Yeah.
business for a little while, and man, the things that they would exclude from it, they would offer it up front, but then they would exclude it, so you really don't have it.
Yeah.
And half the time you don't
that's how
find
they
out
do
about
it.
those exclusions until something happens, and you have to know about them. And then they say, "No, we ain't covering you because this exclusion."
Blah blah blah.
Yeah, I know how that shit works. Yeah.
They told me that I could not get insured as a farm if I was to grow sprouts, bean sprouts, the kind that you would have like on your Jimmy John's sandwich before Jimmy John's had to stop serving them because people got sick. Remember?
Oh,
They're notorious for E. coli or for people for some reason multiple cases with that type of product. While microgreens sounds really similar. When you're talking to the insurance company, they were not sure about it, so they had to do some research, and they said as long as I'm not growing the sprouts like in a jar, where they say like they talk about it. I saw a post on it one time. I was like, oh, look how easy it is, and you can get all this food out of it. Well, it's supposedly not so easy to keep from not having some bacteria or whatever that you don't want. So
Right.
I told them I had to promise them I'm not going to grow those. I'm like, oh.
God.
You gotta be
Sorry, you
careful.
gotta grow.
That's why McDonald's has the onions right now with the E. coli. And when I worked at Taco John's, they removed green onions from the menu altogether because they got people sick too.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
Probably
thing
the
about
same
brands.
supplier.
We trust brands over years, right? But it's like there's been 47 owners of Oreo cookies since when I was a guy. You know, I don't know. I'm kidding, but like,
Mhm.
you know, like we don't know. Like these products are the formulas change.
Can't
It's
trust
not even-
nobody.
Standards change.
Remember when Twinkies changed? What the heck? If it was like a cake, and now it's a sponge.
Yep.
Not that I eat them, but I like zingers. You know, if I can find me one of those red zingers with the coconuts on it, little
I
coconut.
like the
shake.
chocolate ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the
Okay.
Hostess cupcakes.
Okay, see,
Yeah,
Hostess,
them are good
you can
too.
trust Hostess, but they were about almost out of business. I think there was a strike or something years ago. I can't remember exactly what happened, but I know Hostess was
Talking about trust,
trucks.
have you paid attention to what's going on with Lockheed?
No,
So
Mhm.
you know,
Hold on, I can
Lockheed's
pull it
been
up.
under fire for their jets because they've had like a myriad of things. The latest,
failures and stuff.
yeah, well, the latest thing was that door that flew off while they were in flight and stuff like that. But you know, Lockheed, you know, they're not only are they known for their airplanes, but they're also known for like aerospace kinds of stuff.
Yeah, how to spell it?
And
How do you spell it?
LOCKHEED. Lockheed Martin. They
Lockheed,
used to be called.
yeah, they're big. Like I have numerous friends that are engineers that have worked for them. You know, I live just over the mountain from White Sands Missile Range, and they have a lot of Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, you know, these
Yeah.
big engineering, aerospace, mechanical engineering, all kinds of stuff. But
Yeah, my
you know,
cousin Brandon is an aeronautical engineer, and he worked for Lockheed Martin, but he now works for McDonnell Douglas, I think they're called.
yeah, McDonnell Douglas is another big government contractor for engineering kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But Lockheed Martin has been under fire for a long time for their airplanes. I don't know about their aerospace stuff, but I know for their airplanes. And then, you know, their workers went on strike. Their workers have been on strike for weeks. And it was back in the news this morning. They were talking about it because it's costing them billions of dollars because nobody's building airplanes and because everybody's on strike. And it's costing them billions of dollars, and it's creating a shortage of airplanes because your aircraft can only be in service for a certain amount of time, and then you have to pull the aircraft out and you have to make repairs and stuff. So you have to have a replacement airplane, and there's no replacement airplanes.
They don't have any backups, huh?
Mm-mm.
So, real quick, ladies, what's the? Do you want to? Is there a picture out of what your inspiration is tonight?
There is.
Yes. I can't send it. I can't.
That's okay. Is it
I don't
posted
have the
somewhere?
Is it what?
Is it posted somewhere?
It is not, but I can send it.
No, we just were
That's okay.
chatting earlier.
Are we doing the same
He
thing
did
again?
post a similar picture before of an old look
Well-
she did.
I'm intrigued now. We'll find it. We'll find out, everyone. If you're out,
Well,
in the
because she might be doing a different one. She sent me a few ideas, so let's just keep it a surprise.
That's interesting. Okay. That's what. Yeah, like a roulette, like a
Yeah.
Russian roulette of face.
We
paint.
might, if we do the same one, that's gonna be funny.
What
I
you
can
could
post
do,
that again.
since
Yeah.
you're used to being on screen like with each other, you should do something that carries over.
Oh, there you go.
Start on this face, and you put yourself next to I'm here next to Red
Yeah.
Six. He could be like, he could get himself
Yeah.
close
The other
to-
way.
Yeah, like, somehow like that. I don't know. All right, I'm getting to it. Then, so what I was gonna say something earlier. I don't know why it came to me, but with earthquakes, where do you think the safest place in an earthquake is?
In the earth.
Underground.
in
right?
the earth.
Most people would, as far as talking about trust, like you trust the walls around you, like that's
Oh
that
yeah.
Yeah.
can be,
What
you
about
know,
caving in?
No.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you can still have all that happen, but supposedly it is still safer underground. I don't know. They were talking about building these, and I don't know if they're going to do it still, but there's a what do you call it? It's a prototype of the loop, the hyperloop. Elon Musk made this hyperloop in Vegas, where they made this tunnels underground deeper and much more tunnels, but smaller. Instead of the big tunnels we're used to seeing with like whatever you call them underground in like New York, what do you call subways and stuff like that. Yeah, and so these are smaller, but they're more circular because they're a perfect circle because of the structural integrity difference. Evidently, it's much stronger. But I
You know,
learned.
he's got his. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say that's when I learned that you're safer. There's some people talking. Oh, you got I walking all around everybody. So
I walked in to get a cigarette. Yeah, my bad.
all good. That's when I learned that it was safer underground. But they were talking about instead of highways being above ground, we could make layers and layers of these hyperloops, like 100 layers down under the ground, and it would be safer than all the travel, all
Well,
the
yeah,
roadway
because
travel.
wouldn't it be like the closer to the epicenter of the cause of it and stuff, the less power behind it, because the power builds up.
Yeah, it's the geometry shape. It's like something to do with the way that the further away from the core, like you're just saying, it gets more unstable. But the shape underground, you'd have more cave-ins, like Lisa and Smash were saying, if it wasn't that circular shape. Because of that shape, it actually keeps it from caving in as easily. I'm not describing it directly or correctly, but
Well,
it's
there are
something to
like
do
I'm
with
some
thinking about it.
places here, like Seattle and Boston did something called the Big Digs, and they
Okay.
like made tunnels to go under the cities.
Right.
Some of them went underwater, and it failed a bunch of times because it didn't matter about the roundness. There were still spots on
Huh.
it because
Interesting.
that were just soft enough,
Right. That makes
and
sense
those
too. If
wouldn't
you're not
survive.
digging, I think you have to go deeper. I think that's the key.
She
No,
said.
All right. You know what?
I
knew that
was thinking you
was
got to
y'all
dig a
were
little
gonna go.
deeper, like Princess.
Yeah.
Princess
No, but you have to
Diana.
get into bedrock. Like
Let's think about it though. If I'm not mistaken, earthquakes are caused when tectonic
Tectonic
plates shift, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you are not in that fault line underground buried, you'd be on either side of the movement, kind of under it or above it when the tectonic plates shift. If you aren't directly in that fault, you wouldn't have to worry about caving in or nothing, right?
isn't that crazy? You're just
That's what I
floating. We're
think.
just floating on a
Well, I
plate.
think it depends on
Hanging
what
out on-
kind of tectonic plate you're talking about, because you have the kind where it slides over the top, one slides over the top,
Yep.
and then you have the kind
The
that
ones that side.
they grind and they go under like that.
Yeah, they fold, yeah.
Subduction.
Yeah, that's true too.
Subduction zone. You might fall into something you don't like.
Yeah, that's true.
Doing some shit like this all the time underneath, and we're just riding on top of it.
Oh, I wanted to say something about that, about them tunnels you're talking about over there. Have you read into those too much? Elon Musk tunnels over there in Vegas, the thing you were talking about?
The Hyperloop, where he created a company called the Boring Company.
Yeah, I know, but have you? No, not all that. But have you read into what happened since he finished them, or almost finished them?
How they're
homeless people took over. There was a big controversy between Elon Musk's company and the city of Las Vegas because the city of Las Vegas said they didn't have the police force to police these tunnels. So now when you go through there, it's private police force. It's Elon Musk's police force when you go through those tunnels. They enforce all the laws down there. Yep.
I guess he couldn't just let it go to the chaos, I guess. I don't know.
Yep.
That's weird though. I wonder like what if there's like rooms, or are they just living in the tunnels where people are coming flying through? They're going 200 miles an hour in those tunnels.
I really don't know
Here's
details
another
as far
one.
as that, but a quick Google search will tell you about that problem, man. I read that I don't know, a couple months ago.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't know they were doing that now. But hey,
Yep.
you got people infesting them. I guess I don't know. It's weird,
Someone watched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when they were kids.
right? They're like, we're gonna find those alligators one day. Was they're not homeless people? They're just people searching for
I think
the.
Elon Musk watched a lot of fantasy when he was a kid, buddy.
Hey,
Shit.
sci-fi almost always is begets the right word. Almost always comes before like
The actual invention. Yeah,
yeah.
that's kind of true. That's very true. Takes somebody thinking it up for somebody to make it up.
Yeah, that is one thing, man. I was listening to something about like, do we trust our own history? Because there's so many question marks. Whether or not you believe any conspiracy theories of the past, there's too many question marks that are just unanswered. You know, like about a lot of things. You know, pyramids and all that kind of stuff.
Well, you know, the thing about history is I'm a history teacher. And the thing about history is that it's infinite. Like 24 hours ago is history. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's infinite. And there's so much out there. But most history is written from the perspective of the person that conquered whatever. You know what I mean?
Written from the perspective of the winners. Facts.
Well, I don't mean a book. I'm talking about actual, not like what actually happened.
Well, where else do you get your
All
history?
history, it's all perspective, dude.
I know. I'm not.
I mean,
I'm not saying. I don't think it can be known. Is my point. I don't think it can be known.
What do you mean?
I agree with Kim, but I think history is part truths and part lies. Like she said, the winners of wars write history. And when you break down to the brass tacks later on, somebody else might have presented a fact that says, whoa, this ain't true. I think half of American history I know half of American history is a bold-faced lie.
Right.
They told it, like, for instance, they told us the Civil War was about slavery, and it wasn't. In essence, it wasn't at all.
It was about states' rights is what it was about. But history is what caused there to be an issue about states' rights. Go back and go back and read about John Calhoun. I had to read that in this program. John Calhoun was the one that invented that whole. So it actually, where that actually came from, when they created the Constitution of the United States, you had two sides. You had the Federalists that wanted the federal government, and you had the Anti-Federalists. And a lot of the southern states are very much anti-federalist.
It remains the same today under a different name.
Back to Jamestown.
They're very much supporters of small government and individual liberty. And so John Calhoun was very much a proponent of states' rights and very suspicious of federal government and didn't want a big federal government. And he felt like he was still more under the influence of Articles of Confederation, which, every state acted independently like their own country prior to the Constitution. And so he wanted to go back to more, he wanted more of that. So when the South did secede from the United States, they went back to a confederation. They went back to a confederal form of government like we had before the Constitution.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
but I look deeper into that history than that. I was more speaking of the money interests of the time.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
the time.
There's all kinds of variables that influence things, but it's always written. History is always based on whoever's creating it. It's based on their perspective.
Yeah, and it's not always a war and a victor. It's a lot of times it can be archaeologists who disagree on what they find.
Well, technically speaking, I think that still goes to the victor. If you have an archaeologist, then you've had a country who's had enough victory that they were able to be free enough that a man could go to college and become an archaeologist.
Okay, but like thinking about it also depends on if you control the area that's in question. So, for instance, Egyptian archaeologists basically keep a lot of other archaeologists out of being able to see somewhat behind the veil of what really is going on, and they
Right.
formed their own sort of history. And so I feel like that's a different kind of war, though. It's kind of like a war within the archaeology community, the history community. And there's a lot of people that we know this from that movie. Have you ever seen Young Einstein? We know this from from Albert Einstein, where he was the only one that was speaking up, saying, "No, I think it's this way," and all the other scientists, "No way," and he proved him wrong. So we should know that just because most people say this or that, that shouldn't be a reason to believe it. You know what I mean?
Well, it's just like, I work in a high school and we have fights. And maybe you guys can, relate back to your high school experiences of like witnessing fights. And you've always got people that say, oh, they won because, whatever, or another group says they won.
Right.
And it's all based on perspective, It's like, well, what criteria are you using to judge who won that fight?
I love that you use that example. I love it.
Sometimes it's too obvious a situation if you're talking about a direct fight. Like,
but
that's what I'm gonna say. I was the one that didn't leave no chance of perspective. Like you clearly would know if I won the fight or not. I promise. I disagree with that, but I love the analogy to make the point. It's true.
Yeah, it is. But we never really grow out of some of that. Like we talk about maturity and stuff, and that's why I bring it back to trust. And I think like we can trust that each one of us definitely in the heat of the moment is going to do what's best for us. If that's not a mental peace or walking away or going head on into whatever the altercation is. Like we all, let's fight or flight, I guess. But you can trust people to fight or flight. Like you have very few options that that someone else is gonna have happen when they're backed into a corner, right? You know that from every person, every friend you have, every adult you know. I
want to ask Red, haven't you seen action?
Yeah.
In your service, so how you feel about that? With you, when you seen action, was it fight or flight inside?
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of fear, obviously.
That's what that is. Yeah.
Well, you kind of got to also remember, I want to go home.
Yeah. Facts. But I do believe, like I've won half the fights I've been in life because I was scared, not because I was tough.
I've been beat up way more than I've done beaten.
I've been beat up enough. I ain't gonna say more than I'm beaten, but
way more time.
I don't get him. I've never gotten in a fight because I was scared. I got in a fight because I was mad as hell.
Yeah. I didn't say I got into the fight because I was scared, Kim.
I'm the kind of person that goes out and like starts fights with people. I don't shy away from it, but I guarantee you fuck with me, and it's like you're gonna find out I'm not the person to.
I think that's part of that heroic stuff you were talking about way earlier.
Yeah. I'm not a fleer and I'm not a freezer. So you have three responses: fight, flight, or flee. Wait, fight.
I think I'm the same way.
Flee or freeze. I'm sorry.
Right.
I don't freeze, and if I flee, then I have made a calculated decision that this is not a place where I need to be, and I need to drop back and recalibrate and then come back and fight.
See, the ones that survive do exactly what you do, Kim. I'm the same way. Like, I'm not going to try to bring a fight to anybody or create a fight, but I'm not scared. I think you took that wrong. The fear helped me win the fight, not start the fight. Like the anger started the fight, but the fear of the fight or the person I was fighting got the adrenaline going, and got me to the point where I overtook.
I see red. Yeah. You get me to the point where I'm going to fight you. I see red and I will try to kill you. And it doesn't have anything to do with fear. It's like you have pissed me the fuck off. bad enough to the point where I want to kill you.
Got to
And
come
he-
back to that one too, because a scared person will kill you quicker than a person who's not afraid.
What'd you
So
say?
I got to
Lee,
come
today?
back to that too. Sorry,
I
Lena.
said, in the heat of the moment, it's your life or mine.
Yeah,
Facts.
it's,
And that's what the flight or fight response does that he was talking about. It's a fear that causes you to save your life by taking another if necessary.
And that's when the adrenaline kicks in.
well, but you can see people who run or actually freeze, and the people who freeze, that's a what do you
You're
call
a
it?
squirrel in the middle of the road.
What do you call it though? Not survival of the fittest, but it's natural
Darwinism?
selection. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That's-
It's actually, I think it's actually a natural response. And some people
Yeah.
learn to go past that response in their life with experience or
Mhm.
training.
Well,
Yeah.
It's a natural response to freeze.
It was explained to me like this because that's actually survival instinct too, because it's not a fault or a failure. It's actually because some things you had to freeze in order to like don't move, like
Not die. That saber-toothed tiger breathing down your back. You had to hold still.
we learned this from Jurassic Park.
Facts.
Well, let me give you a perfect example of freeze. So I live in the desert Southwest. We have ice here.
Facts.
And you're walking along.
Are you done?
Here. You're walking along out in the middle of the desert, and you better keep your ears open, because if you hear a rattling noise that they make, you want to freeze. You want to stop, because it's like you need to ascertain where the hell that snake is at. Because if you go this way and the snake is that way, then you're running right into it, and it's gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I actually thought about this, Kim. Like you, with the earthquakes and stuff, you got to worry about tremors out there too, right? Like, so you got whenever tremors. No, I don't mean earthquake tremors. I mean those big snakes that swim underground. And whenever you hear them coming, you gotta stop. You can't move. Throw a rock over there, and then run the other way. You ever seen the movie? Yeah,
Classic.
no.
Classic.
Come on,
Yes,
it's so good.
both of them.
And they kept evolving. Like they could fly by the end. It was like, oh shit, flying.
What was the
shit.
guy's name that had the bunker of weapons?
Oh, his real name, Kevin Bacon, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He was one of the main.
Oh yeah,
characters.
Kevin Bacon was the star of that movie.
Yeah,
talking
well,
about
there was a
Reba
bunch of
was-
good ones. There's a bunch of stars in that
Who
original
was
one.
Reba
But then
married to?
Yeah,
Reba
but he
McEntire was in there.
But he was the one that was associated with all of them.
Yeah,
those.
he kept
Yeah.
coming back. I think he
was
needed
like
that
the main
paycheck.
character.
You can tell who needs the paycheck that comes back for the sequel. That's
The fourth and
almost
fifth installments.
inevitable. Yeah, that's something about trust as far as the topic goes. Hollywood, we can't really trust our lying eyes anymore on anything. We talk about, you don't trust what you see on TV, but you can't really trust things on the internet either. But you have to have. I think we've talked about information, and we've talked about another episode. We've talked about being able to have a discern, or to be able to discern something using logic and like your own compass, like, because not everybody's morals are the same. You can't even say, we talked about before, you can't trust when someone says common courtesy. We might be talking about two different things. Oh, well, that's just common courtesy. Like, what do you mean? A rub and a tug? No, that's not common courtesy in my house. Get out of here. You know what I mean? Like, we can't even trust words anymore. So I think it's something that you have to be. I always love the phrase "trust but verify," which means that you don't automatically dismiss. Sort of leave room for the trust to happen, but keep a healthy skepticism. I think I like a little healthy skepticism myself.
Yeah.
On
See,
anything.
I do believe the internet's killed people's sense of common. There's so much information out there and so many different opinions that what is a fact anymore? And hardly anybody is recognizing what facts anymore. But I'm here to tell you that same machine that we're all on has a world of information at your fingertips. And if you research more than one or two opinions and you've got common sense, you'll come to a logical conclusion about stuff. And that's a pretty good basis to stay righteous if that's your goal in knowing the truth, at least.
Well, it's like this show. This show is made on purpose. So, like, all of us with trust is a little abstract, but if every one of us on here was talking about, say, a football. What's your experience with a football? Elisa says, "Well, I had this foam one, a Nerf football." Red Six, like, "Yeah, I played with the college size ball." Like, all of us are going to have a different perspective on that topic, and that's what People in the Box is for. Because you can tell me facts or you can tell me your perspective all day long, but that's only one perspective. That might be distorted in whatever your memory is. But if I hear it from everyone and like we start to see some overlapping stuff, we start to see some, oh, yours was made out of leather too. Okay. Oh, yours had it was tied and had the what do they call them? The laces. Like, oh, okay. You're starting to create, like, I've never seen a football, tell me what so what I'm saying? When you create a picture in your head, you get more perspective. It doesn't mean that you get the truth. It doesn't mean that you get
I agree, but I disagree because I think that's the problem. People's perspective of things. Listen, there are facts. There are what things is. A football is a football. No matter what kind of football it is, it's still a football. No matter if it's a Nerf, if it's small, if it's big, it's still a football. That is a fact. That is not a perspective. Okay, the perspective is the differences in how me and you experience that football, not what the fact is.
Okay, but it's
so I'm saying a lot of people are speaking on their perspective like it's facts, and it's not.
Well, maybe, but that's the whole point, is that you can't trust each perspective as facts. But if you start hearing multiple perspectives that overlap, I still wouldn't say it's a fact, but I'd say, oh, okay, this is starting to become a stronger opinion in my head. So, for instance, with the football analogy, if one person said, if I only talked to Red Six, hey, what's a football? He goes, this is ball, we throw it around, we kick it. But he never mentions that it's like a weird shape or whatever. And then I talk to you and you say, yeah, well, it's got this weird shape. And it's like, well, how would you describe? You're like, I don't know, and then maybe Elisa may have
fact.
Yeah. Or, perspective could be an English perspective to what a football is compared to an American perspective.
Exactly. That's why you'd have to be specific. But that's why I like to be able to pull things up. If we get on here and you tell me, say, this is a fact, and it's like, okay, well, where did you find it? Let's look it up. I'll pull it up right now. And if we can't remember, and I do this all the time, where I try not to even talk on something that I can't remember where to find it. You know what I mean? Hey, we got King Neb in the house. A little fresh perspective in the house. What's up, my guy?
What's going on, man?
Oh, he's plugging in.
Well, we had this conversation the other day on a post, and I told you, hit my inbox. I'd be more than glad to give you where I get my information from. But I refuse to do it on lives or on a post where everybody can see it anymore because of all the disagreements from perspectives.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
I don't want to do that.
People like to read all those comments because then they get to know a little bit.
Well, I feel like those people should go do the research I've done.
Okay.
Yeah, some people don't know how to do that research too, to be fair. Like, let me tell you something. As an educator, so I became a teacher during George Bush's presidency. And
first one or second one?
I don't remember.
Mr. Soft Shoe.
Right.
The only reason that I know that I remember that he was president was because he is the one that created or that signed into law No Child Left Behind. And No Child Left Behind was very heavily influenced by Texas, the Texas education system.
Yeah.
And what No Child Left Behind was trying to do was one of the main focuses was to make our students, they were trying to shift us from I can't remember if it was technology age to the information age or something like that. And so that's where they started trying to push people into more technological kinds of jobs and away from, like labor, stuff. And one of the consequences
Silicon Valley.
for that society wise was that, you know, a lot of people weren't going into trades anymore. And you're always going to need somebody that can build a house and do all of that kind of work, you know, do electrician, welding, all of that stuff. But one of the unknown consequences to that educators noticed was that critical thinking disappeared with all of those trades kinds of.
That's the word I was thinking of earlier. Critical thinking.
It's gone. It's gone.
Yeah, and so there was a push about 10 years ago-ish where they were trying to teach teachers how to make students think more critically. And it's very, very hard because critical thinking, in my opinion, is strongly
critical
influenced by a more hands-on experiential kind of learning than it is a higher minded what's the word? There's a word for it.
Study. Or it's
like
not like you don't study it.
intellectualizing it.
Yeah. You don't.
I think people who can critically think have the ability to hold two opposing but yet simultaneous ideologies.
Yeah,
And look at both of them with an open perspective, an evenly open perspective.
Yeah.
It's very, very hard to do that with young people because their brains are not fully developed until mid to late 20s. And so trying to teach kids and doing it, you know, teaching critical thinking in the classroom like that is
I bet you it's hard as hell.
Intellectual capacity most of the time. I mean, there's some that do, but the vast majority of kids don't have that. And so,
well, how do you teach it though, too? Like in the classroom, like we just said.
It's intellectual. It's it's abstract. That's the word I.
Do you think that the term street smarts is very similar to somebody having critical thinking?
I think it's part. I'd agree. I would agree that for people, yeah. But I think it could come in other forms too. But I definitely think that's definitely part of it.
My son.
But I mean, I think it goes back to what Kim said. Like, you know, they don't have no trades anymore. Critical thinking is when you're a little kid and you touch the hot stove, you freaking know not to do it no more. Well, I swear for Lord, I've seen kids on videos do it 10 times recently.
I said my son went to a Montessori school, and first thing they taught him was chess. That's critical thinking in my book.
Yeah,
you know, like
love the game. Love the game.
Touche. Yeah, strategy stuff.
Strategy, yeah.
Or if we stay in the George Bush vein, strategery.
Sounds like George right there.
Stratego. Remember that? Stratego?
I'm an amateur, what do you call it? I can't even think of the term where you do people's voices.
Impression?
Yeah.
Impressionist, yeah.
Did you smoke, Waylon?
Many times now.
Okay.
He's dabbed all night
so
long.
much so that it's now all put away.
Okay.
Like, maybe I should do another one. Actually, we just passed 710 on the West Coast.
710.
I'm looking at you two ladies as well. We got to check in on you both here. Let's pull it up. And actually, real quick, while we're checking in on you, make sure everyone hits that like button. We're about to put you up on the wheel. If you hit the like button for tonight's game night ticket. Okay, so we got Smashy pulled up first. And that's okay. We're gonna pull you both up. So we got a spider type theme. I'm sensing. My spidey senses are tingling.
Not quite.
Okay. Well, now you over here, on the other hand, are looking like
that's good.
A skull.
Like you're a patchwork, like not a zombie, but like you're all patched together. I know. I see. Okay. Skin. Oh, there's a movie where they take this potion and become immortal or whatever, and it's a comedy where the husband has to take care of his wife and his mistress because they both ended up taking the same serum. You guys remember this movie? What was
Death
that?
Becomes Her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get it, Waylon. Let's go, baby. You need to smoke. Come on, let's.
Thank somebody for knowing because that makes me feel less insane. Yeah, that was such a good one, man. Was it Bette Midler, I think, was in it?
Bruce
But,
Willis.
Yes, Bruce Willis was the other one. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was the name of the movie?
Death Becomes Her.
Death Becomes Her. Okay, so I think maybe I might be nail on the head. No pun intended. Actually, this would look like
Yeah, there you go. You got close to that time.
yeah. So I'm gonna put up the wheel now, and if you haven't gone over to the locals, I'm not sorry, X or Rumble, you can get another chance to get on the
Okay.
wheel here.
Oh,
So yeah, we had a good show last night with the Soil King. If you guys missed that, it was a pretty good conversation. We just sort of let it go in whichever way, and hopefully we'll have him back sometime. But that was a good one.
So I was doing a little thumbing around on the internet, and I came upon this Harvard Business Review they did on trust, and they say that there's 3 core drivers that help form trust. And you kind of nailed one earlier with the logic, and they have this trust triangle. But the 3 drivers are authenticity, like are you being real, the real you, presenting yourself to other people type of stuff. And then logic, you use faith and prior experiences to form your judgment. And empathy, you feel like people, like you care about them, that their interests are your interests. So,
So here's an interesting thing.
pretty cool.
Here's an interesting thing. I was just looking at my phone, and it says teenage Walmart employee was locked in store oven before being found dead. Emergency auto shows. And the dispatch said that oven is on, unsure if the staff are able to turn it off. Can you imagine?
Okay.
Like, how the hell? How did that happen?
The fact that they don't have safety releases on the inside of these things still.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's
how did
crazy.
that
Mind,
get in
because
there?
there's been deaths like that for, what, decades?
That's on a movie
Since they've
too, where
had
like they
commercial?
talk about it.
That's crazy to me. How did she get in there? I mean, did somebody put her in there?
It was a walk-in oven. She was putting stuff in, and the door closed behind her.
Yeah, they should have a release switch or something. Safeties.
Mhm.
OSHA
She
should
couldn't
look
get
at
out.
that.
Well, they have those in like walk-in freezers.
Yeah, freezers. Yeah.
Walk-in freezers and coolers. But man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Definitely a big lawsuit.
I mean, if Walmart hadn't have fired half of their employees, there might have been somebody there to open the door and save her.
Right?
Well,
The
it
robot
says something
will
about
help.
that. Wait, let me see what it says.
Good luck, everyone, on the wheel.
Good luck.
If you didn't hit the like button yet, go ahead and do so anyway. But I've already gotten all the names off.
It said that she was. So here's what they said: female is locked in an oven in the bakery. Oven is on. Unsure if the staff are able to turn it off.
And who said that? Who sent this message?
Dispatch.
The dispatcher.
What do you mean turn it off? Cut the damn cord.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like let's cool it off first.
But sometimes those cords have that coil around it. That
Shut the power then. Shut the power
Should
to
be
the
more
damn
tender
building.
if we cool it off
They should
first.
have an emergency stop.
cool off.
The power to the damn building. I mean, hell. Like,
Yeah, shut it down.
Shut
Yeah.
it down. There's a breaker box.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bash the breaker box with the nearest fire extinguisher.
Well, that's
then-
where you go back to that whole critical thinking shit.
Yep, that's true.
No.
You can't trust the
No, because
people around
people
you
are
sometimes.
fucking idiots now.
Yeah, common sense is not so common.
Well, trust me, I worked in security at the hospital, and that was crazy too, because you are talking to people a lot of times with like head injuries that they think they're somewhere else.
Yeah.
I remember this one guy who literally thought he was in a bank, in his normal bank he's been using for years. I done business with you guys for years. Why are you treating me like this? Let me out of here. Let me out of here. And it was, you know, like you think when you're in that situation, you just like, you can't trust anyone around you. You don't know what, you know, or don't know your name even sometimes. Like,
Sounds like my mother in dementia.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's another one that you start to, even if your family is there to love you and take care of you, like you as we get older, we run into that situation where we don't even can't
Horrible.
trust ourselves, you know.
Horrible, dude. I mean, I knew what dementia was by definition, but not by experience before this recent thing with my mother, and it's an absolutely horrible disease.
Yeah, it hits harder when you experience it, when you see it. Mm-hmm.
Good luck, everybody. Oh shoot, I don't think I changed it. Wait.
Good luck. Well, wait.
I forgot to change the time on it. I'm not doing that twice. Last night I only did a 10-second spin in front of the Soil King. How embarrassing. Only 10 seconds.
Boy, he would have been sitting there for like 10 minutes if I had him on the show.
Now he was there for 2 hours.
I know he
It was a
was.
very good show.
You know what? He was there for 2 hours just for a 10-second spin. You know what I mean?
I missed that show. I'm sorry, I missed it.
Yeah, I missed it too, but I went back and rewatched though.
It's
I'm
pretty
going back
good.
and
It
watch
wasn't super.
It was great, dude. It's a good show. I like
Very
it.
informative.
Yeah, informative. I like that.
He told me multiple times, oh no, we're gonna get you hooked up. And also, if you guys didn't notice this, in the comments he put out a link to his AI that he helped create that has like 30 years of research from multiple growers in this AI, and gave us the password. It's in those comments, and that's incredible. Like he's talking about what it can do. He said it's not public. He gave it to us, to my audience last night. It is not public information. So
I'm in there.
yeah,
I'm in there.
AI, we can't trust AI. They killed their first human, I heard.
You think? Oh yeah, we cannot trust AI. I think.
Congratulations, Cindy.
That's always been known. People are stupid.
Congrats.
I mean, haven't you seen iRobot?
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, but
Mark.
I think we can, and we're moving way fast on the AI.
Hey, you ever
I
notice
agree.
Elon Musk robot look eerily familiar to the iRobots?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
They
that's
do,
true.
but any anatomically correct
Freakishly.
robot probably going to look like those. To be fair, and also that stunt that was pulled, those robots are being controlled by a person.
Yeah, they weren't. I mean, it's still impressive.
There's some
To have
AI
machinery
involved.
being able to move like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's still impressive. So.
AI was involved, but it wasn't fully. It was, I guess, supposedly the walking was done by AI. So yeah, Cindy Paul, I got you written down for the game night
Congrats.
ticket.
Congratulations, Cindy.
Yes. And then we got a number spin to do as well. I'm hot. I'm heated up. The Dab and Dragon. Ready
Let's
to
go. Let's go, Wing. Let's go. Get it.
Cheers,
So-
everybody.
Bring your
King
cognitive thinking back.
Yeah, exactly. Critical thinking now. Yeah. So I just wanted to bring up trust because, like, a lot of times people, like I said earlier in the show, people will talk about trust in a general sense. Oh yeah, I
On
trust
the
you.
general trust, so there's a lot.
Yeah,
of
like what does
different
that
types of
mean? Like,
trust.
oh yeah, I trust you. Like what? Okay, like what about with what? You know what I mean? Here, take my money. Like we do not. Most of us don't trust the government, but yet we have a third party that takes our money and then decides what's best for us to spend it on. Like
Yeah.
that is one of the like weirdest, trust falls that you can do. But yet but that's one of the things about society when it gets this big. You can't just do this without something like that. Now, you could go off and live in the wilderness if you want to really have more
Off
trust.
off the grid, huh?
Right? You could trust just yourself, and but can we even trust ourselves sometimes? You ever been tripping and not trusting yourself?
Does any of us have a human that we 100% trust?
I agree. What, Ty?
Does any of us have a human that we know that we 100% trust? Any of us?
No, I learned
I
a
don't
long
think so.
time ago, you can't trust nobody.
Yeah.
But
I'm the
yourself.
same answer. Anybody
But-
else got a different answer?
But that's okay. But that's my point in that I can trust things about people. It's
Yeah.
not
I
that
didn't
I
say that.
trust
I
you.
said that you 100% trust.
Okay,
100%,
touche.
not
Okay,
80,
yeah,
not
no.
50, right?
But
Yeah,
that don't mean
okay.
I fully trust you.
But
I've got humans that I 80% trust, but
Right,
ain't none that I
80%, right.
100%. Yeah.
Not 100%, right. I agree.
yeah, and earlier
Dogs.
I gotta push back on myself because earlier I said that you can trust people to have the fight or flight or freeze mechanism, but at the same time that doesn't take into account that the whole like some people get off on tormenting or get off on what do you call it manipulating, right? And I don't know where that falls into the fight, flight, or freeze mechanism. You know what I mean? So like you can't necessarily trust that, but you can even a thief, even somebody who's right
That's
next to you. Like say okay, we talked about earthquakes. Say say somebody's mugging me, and we're suddenly an earthquake happens, right? I can trust that guy to try to save his ass. So if I can trust that, I can be like, okay, let me look at he found a way out or whatever. I can trust that maybe, but I can't trust that it's the right way.
Right.
But I can't trust that, he thinks he found a way out. And so there's an extent, I guess. And even, I don't know, that gets crazy too. It's boggling my mind.
Trust is real fragile.
Trust is
me and
earned,
Joe
but
been together 25 years, and he'll still tell me till this day, you'll know when I'm dead. You'll know when I'm dead.
you'll know when I'm dead. Wow.
When I don't believe him, so.
Yeah. So I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily. It's a part of life. I think some of us get disappointed a lot with being, betrayed or being
all of us.
Betrayal.
Not even betrayal, but like a sort of ignoring of it. Like, so there's another way to say it. I can't remember how to say it, but basically like indifference, like, you're either somebody that is trusted or not trusted or indifferent. Like, I don't get, you know what I mean? Like, you have no spot in that thinking process. I don't know. I know there's another phrase I can't remember, but I'm going to do a dab.
Based
Maybe
on reliability, transparency.
Yeah.
That's
Brett
a good
Six brought
trust.
some of that up. Thank you for looking that up, man. I got to remember to do that more on Thursdays. I used to do that where we would find some information, on the interwebs about the topic, and just to see what it says.
You got a horrible echo.
Who, me?
To me, at least. No.
Anyone else?
Waylon.
No, I don't hear nothing.
Oh yeah.
I don't hear it.
Loud and clear here.
Let me see.
Bean. I can't click it. Okay. I'm coming. Yeah, I like just pondering on stuff, but I also like to see a little bit and not believe necessarily, but see what either Daddy Google says, or I'll search it on a different search engine, and see what both search engines say, something like that. But I like to just kind of see what. Oh shit, that is not what I meant to send you, Bean. I sent you the entire list of people hitting the like button.
Smoke, Waylon. Smoke, baby.
Like, oh snap!
Go ahead, smoke, Waylon. You're losing it, baby.
You're right. I need to smoke. He's got wrong paste. He said. Got yeah.
Like, I don't trust the government at all. I don't care who's in the office. Don't.
Yeah, but do you trust the government to do what's in the best interest for the government?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Trust. Yeah.
So think about how there's a whole Reddit thread of people that follow what Nancy Pelosi's husband invests in, and they all get rich off of it. So like, there's a reason that they can trust that, because they can trust that she's out there making the money, right? And so that's an example that came to me. But
that's a bad trust. That's like a fragile trust.
You're right. I guess that's true. No matter what, even that isn't 100%. Like, you can trust. 100%. I can trust like a nature. I could take a guide out with me into the woods, right? And I can trust that he knows what he's doing. But he can make a mistake, just like the rest of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's up, Bean?
What's going on?
Bean?
Yeah, that leads back to the common sense. You take the guide into nature, or you take a guy who says he knows what he's doing. Who do you
Right.
trust more?
You have to make that decision on like if it seems
take
like
a map.
it's credible. Like like when Red Six read that earlier, it's like you gotta if they seem credible or seem sincere, those kind of things. What do you think, Bean? Go ahead. I'll cheers to that. Cheers, Bean.
Actually, I just turned on your live when I heard Ty say, he said, who can you trust 100%? I'll quote the late great DMX. You got to trust everybody. Trust them to be themselves. If they're a snake, trust them to be a snake.
Right, exactly.
He said that. Yeah,
I can trust everybody as long as I trust them to be themselves.
Right, exactly. Because I have some good people and some bad people, and I can trust that they're gonna. Some bad people gonna get my back. Good people may not be like, So there's trust us.
Yeah, that's true. And I think sometimes we didn't have the luxury to choose who we trusted back. And I always think of like Little House on the Prairie or whatever. Even before that, you have this situation where marriage was like essential for survival, not just like a mechanism of like, yeah, I feel like it's time to do a thing. No, it was like, okay, there's bears and coyotes that way, and we got a gang of robbers this way that like to road right through town.
Yeah.
Like you had to band together, Go ahead.
What about when they used to marry their kids off to secure their bloodlines, like back in the
Yeah, Red, that's real. You can
like
trust
that was a little more trust. Like if my son gets with your daughter, I'll trust you a little bit more. Like how does that make it? How do you trust me for that?
I trust I'm gonna get high in a few minutes.
Hey, maybe you'll die right here on live. Maybe not. I'm just saying. How did you trust it?
I don't know. I haven't been trusting the weed to get me high lately. I've been getting some stuff that's supposed to be fire and it just don't do the trick.
When they say it's fire, it's agua.
I was just gonna say that you couldn't always trust your smoke either. You're like,
that's when you need to make some of that.
I try to go for the 29%, and it's like, what?
Pico.
Yeah, I don't trust them percentages for sure.
No.
Especially in Florida, they get a 20% window.
It's 10% in Illinois.
20% in any direction.
Well, there's
it's 10% in Illinois, so they do be lying.
They can sell you hemp and tell you it's 20%.
No, I mean there's a 10% window on what they could lie on. So if it's 20%, they could tell you it's 30%.
Yeah,
or Illinois.
Or if it's hemp, they can tell you it's 9%.
Right. THC.
What'd you say, Kim?
I said there's controversy around the testing for the percentages and stuff. Like they're something they were inflating it or something.
That's what
we're just talking about.
Yeah, they look like fishing. And also, you got to see you got to watch how they're testing it too, because a lot of them will do like batch testing on like smaller batches, or some of them will do crop testing, where they'll test one plant off the whole crop.
The best one. The best one.
See, that is one thing Illinois got right. We don't allow that, bro. Like the state doesn't allow it for the legal people is what they don't. Each batch has to be tested per plant. Like it's pretty strict up here, but I'm sure where you at, Florida?
Well, it's on the ballot right now in Florida, so
yeah.
Dude, I've been watching since the hurricane. I have been watching the news out of Florida, and those what proposition is it? Is this 3 or 4?
Yes, the 3, no to 4.
Okay.
I don't know. I've seen those two, and I can't remember which one is the cannabis. Is the cannabis the 3?
3 is the cannabis, 4 is abortion.
So the 3, the anti-cannabis for the 3. Oh my God, they're something. I was like,
yeah, it's wild to see them.
Fucking politicians are fucking fear-mongering people.
It's
crazy.
You can check into that.
The only people out there protesting are people that are investing in big pharma.
Yeah.
Good point,
No
Jay.
one can cannabis fail.
Yeah.
Well,
it's crazy though. Those commercials are crazy because I have IPTV, so I can watch any channel in any state. And so I started following, because, you know, so, and
Yeah,
I
that's it.
stayed watching it because I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, my time. And that's the time that the Today Show comes on. And I've always watched the Today Show in the morning when I'm getting ready for
Later,
work.
Michael.
So I
The
see these
Today Show.
fucking ads and I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah, but that's only on TV. You drive around here, you drive around anywhere in Florida, there's yes to 3 signs everywhere.
Yeah.
Nice.
Even
No.
on businesses, like businesses are putting them up on their property.
It'll
Well,
be
speaking
interesting
of-
to see how that plays out. What are they polling at? Is there any polling being done on that?
Every election year they say that, oh, it's looking good, we're gonna get it this year, and then at the last minute there's a lot of pushback and it doesn't go through. So I don't got my hopes up really.
Yeah.
Didn't something go through that they reversed too?
I don't know.
Recently.
Something with cannabis.
Yeah, like the governor or somebody had it stopped. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it's something that passed.
They're gonna want
Maybe
that
something
money
to do with
too,
him.
so it's gonna happen.
Well, I
Well,
know
that's the thing. They only legalized in Florida to a point where they can make profit. They didn't.
course,
They don't care
of course.
about your meds. They don't care about you getting healthy. They don't care about you getting off pharmaceuticals. If they can't,
So
make
you don't
money-
have medical?
Yeah, it's medical, but the limitations are like super stingy. You can only get up to 2.5 ounces every 35 days. You have to renew your med card every 5 months.
Wow.
Oh, well, that's bullshit. I got 3 years on mine, I think.
Tax them out the door.
I thought
They're-
Oklahoma was bad.
They're super unfriendly there in Florida. Like Ron
Yeah,
DeSantis
no growing.
is huge disproponent of cannabis.
I mean,
Yeah, that's the main blockage for them.
I understand his
Yeah, they
perspective.
said
Though.
there was a shortage at first, but once we're in a shortage in Florida, then they'll probably let up on some of it.
Well, I mean, I do understand his perspective. Like he's got to oversee the state, and if you really do look at the places that went heavy legalization, they kind of turned to shitholes. Like that doesn't mean, that's not exactly correlation equals causation, but I mean, like,
I don't know about that. Colorado's pretty fucking nice.
Washington
it depends
State,
where you go.
What did you say? It turned to what?
Turn to shitholes. Crime goes
Oh.
up.
I know.
Crime goes up. Litter goes up. Homelessness goes up.
I think you better
Traffic
check
accidents go
that
up.
fact. I think you better check that fact state to state. I think all
Yeah.
of those that
Well-
went down in Illinois.
I didn't say all, but most of the places where they went heavy legalization, like even Illinois is kind of strict though. Like they don't have the dispensaries like where you can just go in and fucking go
Nope.
fucking crazy. And I'm
Well,
like, they kept
Some
it
of the
kind
strictest and heavily taxed laws in the country for marijuana.
But you go right next door over to Michigan and look how they're doing.
Yeah, they're pretty free. And even Missouri's legal now, and they're a lot freer than us too. So
All right, guys, this is for the last number wheel spin for
Good luck.
reporters this week. Good luck, guys. Let me see, make sure
I
the
don't know how
time.
we went. Like I know that we went. So I was a medical user, and I know that there was only a certain amount that I could get, and it was pretty liberal. You know, the amount that I could get was pretty liberal. But I don't know, since we went recreational, I don't know if it's still restricted or not.
ours is.
Wait, where do you live?
New Mexico.
Oh yeah, I was thinking Texas. I was like,
Oh,
hey,
Texas
when
is
did
better than
Texas go?
Yeah, Washington State, they bought highways, clean highways when they went recreational, like the dispensaries. It wasn't so saturated out there with dispensaries anyway.
I
Yeah.
mean, the state of Illinois has seen an increase in
A lot.
money by billions. And believe it or not, our fat fucking bitch ass governor, excuse my language, has actually put some of that back on the
finally.
streets and bridges and stuff where it's supposed to go. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Should do.
They are actually doing that this year.
Finally, they put that money back.
yeah.
Yeah, with
I know
us,
Illinois had the biggest scandal with that. Like
Yep.
that governor was siphoning money out of the weed game.
Illinois
yeah.
always got
Congratulations, 8.
shady ass politicians.
But
Yeah.
you talk about Blagojevich, though. I wasn't talking about that fat one. I'm talking about the one we got now.
Yeah,
Pritzer.
We always got somebody corrupt in Illinois.
yeah.
I think it's funny though. I thought when Kamala Harris announced she would run, that she would get our governor as her running partner. I mean, think about it. He's a billionaire, so it'd be billionaire against billionaire. One left, one far left, and one pretty far right. It would have been an interesting presidential election, nonetheless.
Yeah, one from each. There you go. Unless they're both part of the Uniparty, in which case you're already there.
Yeah.
All right, number 8 is Charles Reinhardt. Chuck.
Congrats.
Congratulations, Charles.
Sheena just came in. Yeah, congrats. Sheena,
Isn't it already billionaire versus billionaire? Isn't Kamala and her husband worth billions?
I'm not sure, but I don't think so. I think they're millionaires.
you're beyond enough money.
Her husband is a huge investor in BlackRock and Vanguard.
I'm aware.
Yeah, it is already
Vanguard's,
billionaire versus billionaire.
hey, Vanguard's a good place to invest too, by the way. Just saying.
Probably no joke. Yeah. But I've thought about like NVIDIA or other things like that, but I don't want to. I have some Bitcoin, but not actual Bitcoin. You know, you buy it through
Got a
like
little
Cash
bit.
App, whatever. I buy it through Cash App. Well, I don't think that's real Bitcoin.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Don't
But
they
you're
own-
buying pennies. You're buying pennies on the Cash App.
Right.
It is real Bitcoin though. My Cash App Bitcoin's built up to about $170 cashed out
Yeah, but
value
you don't
right now.
actually own that Bitcoin. Cash App owns it. You're leasing it
That's
off
what I'm
them.
saying. That's what we
Yeah,
talked. I think you
yeah.
talked about this before, haven't you? Yeah, we
But-
can't even trust our bank
Yeah,
with our money.
I
Oh, are you
saved
not,
up.
Ashley?
No,
I
I'm trying to
saved up
drive
enough
this
money.
screw to my
Okay.
head.
I'm gonna mute you while you do that because it sounds
Oh
like
shit, sorry.
Mothra was coming in. Okay.
Mothra.
Like,
I did pretty good last year at work, so I saved up enough money, put enough money in the bank, and eventually I was able to get myself a full Bitcoin.
Nice. There to get it.
Case and all.
Hey,
what did it cost?
hey,
It was like $2 on, not even, it was on Temu. I think it was one of the free things that they give you.
yeah, right.
Nice.
Knock off.
Yeah.
It looks pretty.
Bitcoin's at like 68,000 right now. I wish.
Well,
Yes, it
yeah,
is.
you can-
The dispensary was taking it while I was working at, and he said, "Hey man, you want to buy this $300?" I'm like, "Man, I don't believe in that stuff." I regret it so far now. I'm kicking myself in the ass right now.
Hey, it's
I
looking
first
like it's about
bought.
to double
I first
again.
bought a little bit about 3 years ago, and it was up and down. You know, if I would have invested a lot, I could have lost my ass or gained some. It was just back and forth, going crazy. And then here this last year, though, I wish I would have put a little more, but I'm still holding. It ain't
Yeah,
going
I
nowhere.
put $10
yet.
on there and it doubled. If I had
Did you?
put my whole paycheck on there, hasn't been good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Facts.
I helped build the Tesla Gigafactory out in Nevada, and they was offering shares for $50. You think I don't regret
Yeah.
that?
Oh snap!
yeah. You didn't take it? Why
Nah,
didn't you?
I wasn't into trading. I didn't trading. I'm like, nah, I ain't got time for that. I mean, I'm getting $4,000 a week. I wouldn't care. you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But now I
Well,
regret
you
it.
might be regretting. You might be regretting that because Tesla's been taking some hits this week.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So
Pretty hard.
I'll
So-
tell you what, Bitcoin is still a good investment. It might not happen today, it might not happen in 10 years, but it'll see $1 million.
Yeah.
I don't trust Bitcoin.
I have SHIB.
I think the government can just
So do
buy.
I.
enough
That's my
of
biggest
it
investment.
Yeah, mine too.
I
Yeah,
think
me too.
old money.
I still don't
I
trust
think-
it though. I'm with Kim. Go ahead, Kai.
Yeah.
I think old money supplies the war machine, and I think if this world goes into World War III like we look like we're gonna fucking do, that Bitcoin will be worth absolutely nothing.
Yep.
So will the dollar,
In
though.
my opinion, Bitcoin is the Enron of present day.
Ooh, Enron. Wow.
Enron
Go ahead
lasted
now,
way
Kim.
less time, didn't it? Wasn't it like a
Enron.
short-lived
She brought up
company?
Enron.
It was
Enron, they're still a company, aren't they?
Well,
I don't
someone bought the
know.
name, I'm sure, but it did have that big crash or whatever that
Yeah.
lost their ass on.
Well,
I
they were
remember
built on fake shit.
Yeah. Well, so with the Bitcoin, to your point about trust on it, I think that there is a plan that the government could purchase. They don't even, it doesn't have to be from them. But they could, if they wanted to, just continually purchase all Bitcoin. Just buy up everything that's available. And anytime anyone spent any of it, they could continue doing that. So they could, if they wanted to, they could take over Bitcoin if it became so, because we're so independent from the world banks and things like that.
Mhm.
They would inflate the price so much on those last stocks. Like everybody that was left with stocks would be worth fucking.
Yep.
That's fine, but the government, it's not their money. They would buy you. Okay, what do you want? $1 million for yours? Okay, 2 million, 10 million.
And
There you go. Billion, 2 billion. You know, that's a drop in the bucket to them. A Bitcoin right now is worth just under 70,000. So you know what? I want 10 times that.
Yeah, if it hit,
like, okay, done.
I don't know what I'm talking about, guys.
67.9.
If it hits that
67.9
again, I'm putting a house on it.
Right.
67.9 as of this morning, actually.
Okay. Yeah, like it right now, I'm down just a little bit from like 6 months ago. So it's just now finally getting back up to close to that. But it's basically been riding. It's been riding very.
At 70,000. Just itching towards it.
It's at
So-
right now. It's at 67,990.
Jesus.
See, I told you. I'll be keeping track of that. That's the only thing I'm invested in, so I know what Bitcoin's doing.
Hey, hello.
72 and change is the all-time high. So.
Yep.
Hey, Ben, you waiting for that ship to go up, right?
Hey, don't quote me on this.
That's
Google
the only
it.
reason I watch Bitcoin is because Bitcoin makes the rules.
Don't
Like
quote me.
Bitcoin will tell you what the rest of the market's going to do.
Yeah.
You know what I think is funniest about Bitcoin is literally if I took 6, 7,000, bought one, right? And I waited for Elon Musk to say a sentence on X, that bitch would go up enough to almost double that for me in a few days if I sold it right away
He likes Doge.
before it went back down. It's ridiculous. It's
He claims
ridiculous.
to not have a connection to any of the cryptocurrencies, but I think he likes Doge.
So I got a question. What would happen? What would happen if all the banking systems, even the big three, decided to buy up all the Bitcoin?
That's what I'm saying. It could be done. Like it would be. Everyone would hold. Like to your point, Bean, everyone who's holding would never let go. But then it becomes worthless. You might as well be holding and you know, who wants it then? Like a eclectic, down the road, someone who wants to trade, like the what do you call it? Collect them. Like you got Pokemon cards and all this Bitcoin thing. It was a thing back in the 2020s.
I don't know enough about it. I was just gambling with my money.
Actually,
They
wouldn't have to buy all of them. Actually, they would only have to buy 51% of them and then sell.
Oh,
it would crash.
Facts.
It would crash the whole thing.
Okay. Yeah.
The majority, yep.
Yeah.
And they could.
All of a sudden, the price would go to zero, and everybody's left holding the bag.
This is what I mean by that money that's so old, it's got white hairs growing out of it. That's eons into European countries, even before America banking systems were established, is not going to let go of that established power, bro.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I gotta believe that those ancient groups of people, like everyone's different. There's no way, like I can't even imagine a single bloodline. Like if you want to go down the path of you name it, Illuminati or Rothschilds, whatever the conspiracy is, none of them
One of
have
the first
been around.
banking systems in America.
Right, but my point is like there's no way they've kept a like an actual structure for hundreds of years. Like,
why not? Why not? If you check into European banking
human
systems,
error, human error
like from
alone.
Dutch, if I'm not mistaken, the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers were Dutch descendants. But if you check into the banking systems of that time, it's the same system as it is now. It's the exact, the basic principles is the same. You put your money here, we'll hold it for you.
Right. And there's the interest by them, the whole thing about the banks being able to invest your money to make money off of it. That's what
that name you just said is the reason we have banks in America. The Rothschilds opened the first banking system here. And it was also the first time we were taking off the gold standard, by the way.
Well, okay, but the toilet is about the same as it's been for a long time, and then we still call it whatever that was, it was named after the people that made it. Like my point is, just because we use their system doesn't mean their kids or their like descendants are still alive in the banking system. Doesn't mean it's not. I'm not saying they aren't. My point is, I just don't think
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Look at how we've tried to do this. Like we've tried to have this like mini oligarchy in America, where all these politicians that have their kids and other family members jump in and be like, pass it down to Bush Jr. and there's like, and then like everyone has like there's like.
Yeah, but we're not talking about politicians. We're talking about one. I'm talking about one percenters. That's exactly what they do.
My point is about the degradation of DNA through your family, and it just like the people just decide to do something different all of a sudden. Like you can't keep that going.
No, I think that the second that those kids pop out, they start training to be
absolutely. Okay. They definitely pass down wealth.
They're groomed.
I mean, look at the royal family, like how long they kept that going. I mean, it's
and not only did they keep it going in wealth, they fucked each other to actually keep the bloodline, the royal family, for years. For years. So I'm saying people like them 1%ers, those people like the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers. I mean, people don't even realize, like, you know what, man, Chase Bank, correct?
The Chase Bank.
Chase Bank. Yeah, Chase Bank started out as Chase Manhattan Bank. Guess who owns that? Rothschild family. Okay. Just one example. One example. And it goes on. And those families have been here. You can put the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers both in the slave trade that took part in this part of the world. You ever heard of the Dutch embargo? You ever heard of the Dutch embargo? That was the biggest. That was the biggest amount of African slaves brought to this part of the world from that part of the world in history. They brought more during that embargo than any other time. The Dutch ships were owned by the Rockefeller family, sir.
And another thing is when people talk about the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and all that stuff, like when they say family, it closes your mind off to think like a family. They're talking about a family of thousands of people. You know what I mean? Like everybody
like a mob boss family, like a mob family.
Yeah.
Well, they're all blood, but like it's cousins and like, you know what I mean? It's not just like fucking dad. It's not dad and his 3 sons.
Well, I get that. I know they would have more to it, but that makes my point stronger in my opinion, because even more people make more mistakes, more conflicts, more like factions happening within, and then they fight and then they argue. Like that stuff happens. We know this happens with most countries that ends up with like revolutions and stuff. Look at France. Like you can't keep things together that long, in my opinion.
I agree with you.
Okay, let's hear it.
These families that are interested in power do what it takes to maintain that power. You don't have a lot of faction in these families. They're all very cohesive and they all have a purpose. And, I come from that kind of a family. I'm the black sheep of my family. I start doing my own fucking thing.
That's what I'm saying. That happens in families.
And I love you for that, Kim.
But I wasn't raised around all of those people. Because I'm way, way younger than anybody in my family.
And they ain't about to let the black sheep take down this empire.
But
black sheep, we got another one.
Those people are like dynasties. those people are like dynasties, and they hold on to whatever power it is that they have, and they pass it down from generation to generation. And
Right,
let me
those
tell
kids
you
aren't on
something.
Facebook or on the internet. Like they're being taught in other ways. Like
None of them are really like that. They're not politicians.
No.
yeah,
The people who really control this don't want you to know them or their face.
Mm.
But you know what? It's out there. All it takes is a very small search of majority shareholders in these companies or in your Federal Reserve System. Did you know that was privately owned?
Yeah.
I
It's
think
not-
Guess who owns like 32% of it? Rockefellers.
yeah.
The
So
history goes on and
Or
on.
wait, which one owns which? The Rockefellers or the Rothschilds? And wait, do either one of them own BlackRock and Vanguard? Which one?
I wouldn't
owns
say
that?
they own any of that. I'm seeing they own businesses,
stuff,
which
yeah.
are entities.
Yeah.
You know, they masquerade. I mean, listen, like I think I read once like 85% of the products that we use are owned by like 5 companies.
Right. I watched that, and it keeps going up to the top of BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street, and all 3 of those own each other. If you look at their stocks and things like that, they
If I
own each
was-
other. So it's all one.
If I was, yeah.
one place.
If-
It's crazy.
If I was suggesting to people to look for truth, I would say start with the Bilderberger Group and the Trilateral Commission.
They
Find
talk
out
about
what those
that in the
2
movie,
groups
like the
are.
health.
Yeah, find out what those 2 groups are, and you'll find out who's controlling your world. And it ain't the Republicans, and it ain't the damn Democrats.
No, it's the one that's funding all of that shit and pulling the
Facts.
strings like a bunch of puppeteers.
I just don't think it's one thing. I think it's probably multiple factions of different varying interests that probably work together at times.
It is. They call them 1%ers.
Yeah,
So
like globalists
here's
or whatever,
the
right?
deal. Here's the deal.
You see what Barbara said, Kim?
Pharmacists are working
Yeah.
with your lawyers, and your lawyers are working with all these people who own all this businesses like Walmart, Sam's Club, and it's all a big conspiracy.
So here's the all of these people are
You mute, bro?
have been
Sorry, I'm done.
all of these people that own all of this stuff typically have been power brokers in this country for a very, very long time, for centuries. All right, or at least a century. And most of them are Ivy League educated. Do you know what the most advantageous thing about going to an Ivy League college is?
Connections.
Exactly.
No connections. Yeah, connections.
Making
I
those
thought you said
connections.
collections. Yeah,
That's it.
absolutely.
And that's why all of these
Collection.
people like that are all Ivy League
What I thought you
educated.
said.
Yeah, it's definitely a club. It's all like a rite of passage, and you get put into a certain like a certain track. They call
Yeah,
it.
what do they call it? The Skull and Bone Society and stuff they got.
What was the Bohemian Grove? The Bohemian Grove in California. Do you remember this? Have you guys heard this
Yep.
story?
Yep.
Yeah.
Baphomet. They do it
They
every
don't
year.
tell you to follow the money.
They
from the
sacrifice
league.
kids to a big owl.
Well, I've heard that too, but
They might.
see,
Saw it on
that's
Joe
what I'm
Rogan.
like. That's what I'm like. Okay, the conspiracy theories have probably went too far now, guys. Let's get back
Some
to
of that's on
reality.
purpose. Some of that is seeded on purpose into our information, like that. Some of that is put out
It
there.
is.
Illuminati, man.
Yeah, I don't
It
know
is
that
put
I
out
go
there.
with that Illuminati stuff. I mean, I know that there's secret societies out there and stuff like that.
It's called
But
the
I don't
flip and switch.
necessarily believe that they are the power brokers and things. I think it's old, like you were saying. I think it's old
It's
money.
old money. Okay,
Old money is what controls shit.
that makes sense.
They
but
are
I mean,
they are direct servants of the power brokers. How
When you have
about that?
enough money to pay
Maybe.
whoever you want to do whatever you want for your whole life and never go broke, like you got all the power.
like Richard Pryor money.
Like,
It was
Period.
Brewster's Millions. Ever seen that one?
Yep.
Brewster's Millions.
Yep.
Smashley, did I? I did. Okay.
Same reason
Oh,
we're all
okay.
working with the pharmaceutical companies and the doctors and everybody else.
Hey, Cindy, if you think Nestle is impressive, you should try. God damn it! Never mind. Oh, Philip Morris.
Nestle
Look
is
up
a big
what
one.
Philip Morris owns.
Johnson and Johnson owns a lot too. I think Nestle
What-
might own them, but I'm not sure which way
Well,
that goes.
that's
What
also
am I
they
correct
don't
about, Francis?
Those
they
are
don't
What am I
exactly
correct about?
own them. Those they just own shares of them. They own stock in those.
That's
companies.
still loaded. That's still loaded when the same family owns the majority of those shares.
Yeah.
Those are corporations, and they
Well,
do
brand.
have power and authority and whatever. But I'm telling you, the real power comes from old money, like you
Okay,
said.
but what the connection here is that we look
Facts.
at brands that we trust, and a lot of times we've seen some brands that have been around for 40 years or whatever. These long lasting brands, and but
Like
yet
Johnson
really
and
it's not the
Johnson
same.
that were able to give you cancer
Exactly.
and kill you, and now they're still here feeding you something else, probably.
Right. Now, do
What,
you think?
I wanted to ask Francis though. Francis, what was I correct about, the Bilderberger Group or the Trilateral Commission?
I think you were talking about just the old money, the different families.
So I just read something the other day. You know, the only reason Taco Bell and Pizza Hut exist is because Pepsi needed a place to sell their product.
I don't know. I know the history of Pizza Hut, and I don't think it had nothing to do with Pepsi.
Well, I mean, no, hold on. They exist to this day because they were both going out of business, and
they were.
Yum Brands bought them. Yum Brands is actually Pepsi Cola. Pepsi Cola needed a place to sell their product because everywhere you go, you ask for a Pepsi. Nope, we got Coke. So Pepsi's
Facts, Francis.
Pepsi's marketing scheme for a while was, would you prefer a Coke? Because when you ask for a Pepsi, they say, would you prefer a Coke? So
Why
they
would
just
they say that?
because whenever somebody would ask for it, that's what they would say. So they just called themselves, would you prefer a Coke, for a while, because nobody would buy them. They couldn't get it into any restaurant, so they just made their own restaurant and sold you shit that's not food, just so they could sell their stuff that's not drinks.
Wait. So who was saying, would you prefer a Coke?
Pepsi.
That was their slogan for a little while. Would you prefer a Coke?
And then they would give people a Pepsi.
I got him.
But the interesting thing is, every time there's a Pepsi versus Coke challenge, Pepsi wins.
I love Pepsi.
It does. I have seen that.
Look,
And I drink Pepsi, so yeah, for real.
I don't like Coke ever since I don't trust Coke either ever since I saw that story where they had these internal memos that were going around to all, like, spreading out to all their employees, and not to get radical here, but the memo said, be less white.
Yeah.
You guys
Damn.
remember this? I was like, what?
I don't,
Like,
but
what?
I can imagine.
Right, and
For
like
Coke.
they backed up what they said with this whole jumping through hoops of what they mean, and basically like less on time to work and stuff like that. Basically, they were basically being super racist about it. But I'm like, I'm not a Coke fan after that. I'm not. If
I thought they were. I thought they were talking about what was that? Clear Pepsi.
Yeah.
Crystal Pepsi.
Yeah. I never really cared about a company's politics. I just don't like Coke because it's flat the second you open it. You get one good sip off of a Coke.
What Coke can do? Take off rust off a bumper.
Yeah, but so can Pepsi. So can Pepsi.
Yeah.
It's the sodium sulfurite in the soda that does that.
Panel, I got someone on the panel. I got blocked. Around it. Oh snap!
Who blocked Bob?
Hi, Bobby.
Yeah, Robert's putting it out there. Okay. Is it a trust problem? So we were talking about the trust fall earlier.
Yes, very much so.
I prefer water.
I don't drink soda at all. I don't drink pop.
Hey, but I disagree with Coke tasting flat. That shit is the most bubbly soda there is besides Sprite.
You only get one bubbly sip.
One bubbly
But
sip.
listen, I was a Coke drinker, but I stopped drinking it because it's too sweet. Pepsi's not quite as sweet as Coke.
I think the other way. I think the Coke is actually more acidic tasting. Like King Ned was saying, it tastes like it's cleaning the battery terminals inside my.
Well, I'm a diabetic, so I smoke. I drink zeros.
Are you
so maybe
ladies
that's the difference.
done? Sorry, you're both done. Okay, Kasia, let's
Let's
see it.
see.
3, 2, 1. All right.
Oh yeah.
I gotta blow it up.
I like
Hold
when
on.
you turn to the left. Yes, the other way. Yes, yes.
Oh yeah.
There you go. That's badass.
Snap.
So okay, we'll look at Smashy, then we'll find out what this inspiration was all about. Okay,
I got,
a little farther away.
I
Let's
got
do
the
that.
screw to stick.
Oh wow.
Oh, cool.
What is it?
Broken glass or something with a screw. Yeah,
Oh,
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's artsy.
We're
right?
supposed to
You
be
can draw, huh?
porcelain dolls.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Somebody got mad at mine.
That
In
Someone got
mine.
mad at?
Yeah.
you should do that and paint all the way down your neck the broken design.
Oh.
Like spider web, the broken design out.
That's not a bad idea.
Like your whole face is broken, yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Mhm. That's pretty fucking awesome. I like that.
That's awesome. I like that. You guys, you definitely do look like that movie. What was the Red Six?
Death Becomes Her.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Because they fight at one point, and they're like peeling apart as they're fighting each other, and
Been a while.
then Bruce Willis has to put them both back together at the end and just be there.
Like one of them neck gets all stretchy and stuff or something.
Yeah. Oh man, that one's pretty crazy for that time.
Hey, at least you're telling the truth. You blocked me, Bobbert. About time.
Oh, see, now we know who it was. I didn't know who it was. I thought maybe it was May, or maybe it could have been Kim. I don't know. Maybe it's King Neb. I don't know. It could have been Bean Dongo. I don't know.
What?
I wasn't even going to say that. Just glad
All
you
right.
did. Much love, though, Pre. Much love.
Well,
Mucho
that's our prerogative online, and I think some people don't use it enough. If you really find somebody that
I got 203
Wrong
people
way.
blocked on my Facebook. I use it quite often.
oh, you know the number. I don't even know. I have to look. If, a bunch of scammers and anybody that was like scamming and stuff like that. I blocked those people.
I don't. Yeah, that's most of them, but I don't block people, man. You can pretty much say anything to me except be disrespectful over and over again. You can even be disrespectful once or twice, and I'm still probably let that slide. But after a while, I'm just like, nope, boop. I don't even want to hear you no more.
Yeah. I block spammers, or if you're just fucking annoying. If you're just in my inbox, and
Oh,
shit all the time,
snap.
get out of my page.
Oh snap! What, Waylon?
Right.
I didn't know that
Yep.
about. Okay. Well, yeah. And see, and I never blocked that guy either, Bobbert. So,
I block the
what it
weed
is.
sellers. Like who buys
Yeah.
weed on Facebook? Yeah.
Dude, I've been saying this all week. It keeps happening. People, I get friend requests from if you have genetics in your name, I don't trust you. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like I'm not even giving you a second look. Like unless I've seen you in the chat somewhere, like I can't do it. You gotta
Hold on a second.
Right.
Hold on, guy. Please give me a second to address this. Bobbert, Sam
Some
supporter.
of them, if you know them, then you do.
Hold on. Can I let me address this? Sam supporter, Bobbert. Like, what is he? The president?
Huh.
I mean, bro, I'm friends
I
with who
hope
I want to
not.
be. Hold on. I'm friends with who I want to be friends with. That shouldn't have nothing to do with me and your friendship if I didn't do nothing to you.
I can't stand that. I can't stand that. People make you want to choose sides, and
I agree.
I can't be your friend. Don't be his friend.
Sam ain't never did nothing wrong to me. If he's done something wrong to you, that's on you, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of you
Depends, though,
motherfuckers out there that don't like Sam no more. That's not my problem. I don't even want to hear it because until he does something wrong to me, then maybe I'll hear it from there.
He told me who I can be friends with. That's why we're not friends.
Who you would Sam or you would who?
Yeah, Sam was like,
Oh.
He
He
Me
ain't
and
never gave
Ashley
me.
have each other blocked, and we're all up here with you. So you
Right.
can just
Listen, he ain't never gave me that ultimatum.
I thought so, but I try not to just.
I would think Sam would know better than to give me an ultimatum like that. Then we wouldn't be friends anymore because
Right,
I'll do what I want to do on my shit.
That's
Narcissistic
what
right
happened.
there. I don't like
So,
narcissistic shit. I got kicked out of the group because I'm
There's
friends with
energy you
Jeff
don't
Frost.
want.
Really?
Yeah. That's how I am kind of, Lisa. Now I'm tired of the bullcrap, man. I just want to talk to people and get along.
Yeah. Me and
Go ahead.
Frost go way
Amen.
back.
Right?
Well, like I mean, I think there's a lot to be said about about agree to disagree, and it doesn't have to be a let's fight about it. It has to be like, okay, do whatever it is you're doing. I'll see you later.
Yeah, but don't
And let
tell
me-
me who I am anyway. I'm gonna live my
Well,
life.
let me say this. Let me say this too, because before I forget, because this is important. Hey, Bobbert, if
All
you're
right,
still
it's
here,
cool, it's right.
did you get a call from some people about a glass piece and a wrap that you did? Did that bring you some more business? I know you did, and that was because of me, bro. I don't hate on you, man. You have never heard me say a bad word about you, and if anybody told you I did, they're lying.
Guess what?
And that's all I want to say about that.
I went to Trump University. I can't stand Trump. But guess what? My roommate is a staunch Trump supporter. We agreed to disagree.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
But and especially in a space like this where there's a bunch of people that stream, there's a bunch of people that watch, like everybody's like hanging out in the same communities and stuff. You can't just fucking tell half the community you can't talk to somebody.
Don't
or
go
not.
negative
it's kinda
on
crazy.
somebody
Start,
either.
like-
Just keep that to yourself.
Well, it's crazy that cannabis doesn't promote drama.
Yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't, but oh my God, it does, though. It does. When you're really into this community and you see all ends of it, it so does, man. There is so much of that petty jealousy and backstabbing shit going on. And not just online. I'm talking about when you go to events and you see different competitive vendors or whatever the matter, it's everywhere in this community, and it's supposed to be about love. When I got into it, that was my ideology of it.
Yeah.
I swear of all that shit. If you got something to say, come into my live and say it, or send me a message and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't care. You can go talk to everybody else about me. You can go tell everybody I'm a guy. I don't care.
And it happens. I assume that. I trust
I
that
hope
that
it
happens.
gets back to me. I want to hear the stories.
See, Bobbert and a few other of his friends think I'm in cahoots with Sam because I blocked a lot of the same people that he has problems with. Not all of them, like Bobbert, didn't block him, but some of them. But it's not because Sam has problems with them. It's because of what they did to me.
Just
Okay, but
be
let
the
me-
peacekeeper. Keep
Right.
I
the
just worry
peace.
about myself.
Let me put a hypothetical in here though, and I don't think anyone's had this happen necessarily. Almost. I mean, there was the opportunity. I'm not going to get into the details, but say somebody hurt a friend in real life. Like, say, imagine I got beat up real bad by but I didn't. But like, there was the opportunity. I went to what was called cannabis bingo, and there was an opportunity, but no. But like, what if I was just like done real dirty like that? Like I was put in the hospital from like there was a weapon that I didn't know about or something. Like imagine some situation where it was like some real damage that your friend that you call a friend. There is a level, or I'm just saying there is a point or a line that could be crossed where you would say no, I would not be friends with somebody who did that to a friend of mine.
Yeah,
right. Just loyalty.
Everyone has their line. Yeah, it's not.
But it's not. He said this on
Listen,
now all of a
listen.
sudden,
I am sorry, but I totally disagree. There is no line with me. You could do as much as to kill my other friend, but if you are my real friend, you will remain so.
Wow.
And we're going to talk about why you killed homie.
I was going to say there's no doubts at that point. Go ahead, Bean.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hell no, I disagree with that.
Anything else is fake to me, man. I mean, with the exception of he went and abused a child or something.
We're all right here, bro.
I'm sorry, my mic's up loud. With the exception of he went and abused a child or something.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
fuck that.
If I'm your friend, I'm your friend for a reason.
There's your line.
Yeah, but you are judged by the company that you keep too.
But you're
I
not
don't care.
People.
And I don't care. I've been judged all my life in one way or another, and I don't care what they say or do about me.
Right, that's right.
Huh. Well, I
Your
think
words
everyone
don't
had their
matter at
thoughts.
all.
I gotta get out of here, guys. Much love to each and every one of you.
All
Have a
right.
good
Peace
night.
out.
Thanks,
Look, man, nice to meet you, King.
Have a prosperous evening. Smoke lovely. Waylon, I'll holler at you later, man.
All right, brother. Appreciate it.
Kim, I'll be farting in them bathrooms, man.
Yeah. He remembers the good old days.
Yeah.
King Ev, myself, and Kim, and just bathroom talk. Good time.
It is what?
No, we had. I made a couple of reels where there was this conversation that ended up about it, and it was just we don't need to go back into it now.
Right.
You don't want reel number 3. I mean to be a downer. It's okay, Bobbert. I mean, I would say try not to. I mean, I don't like. It's not like you stormed off or got like vulgar, but I would try not to bring that to the live unless you want to come up and talk about it, you know. But I think we could talk about it in a
Unless you just want to judge me for the things I've done to you.
Well, there could be that,
and not what other people are doing.
I'll be honest, Kai. What I don't like that you did was basically wish for death. When
Florida, the Florida thing.
It wasn't in Pennsylvania when the bullets flied, and you were saying you wish that the mark.
I'm gonna not talk about that.
I'm just saying that's one thing that hit my butt, but I didn't block you over it. It was just like that to me is a line that I don't like. I don't wish death upon, you know, in somebody that agrees with me differently politically. But if I have been in war, and some of us have been in war on screen, and I didn't wish death upon. I didn't wish for someone to kill that day. But if there was a situation where I was being attacked, then yeah, like I'm gonna hope that the other guy stops breathing before me. You know what I mean? And I've been through a few ambushes, and it was like those were not situations where I wished for someone's death. It was more like I just want to get through this, and let me put more lead downrange than they do. You know, period. And like that's so for me, that's a line that I just, you know. But hey, we don't need to go into it. But just like I'm cool with talking about whatever, because to me, this is the whole point of the show, and it all still literally leads back to self-sustainability, because we can't sustain our like society or our connection with people if we can't discuss ideas. The discussion of ideas is the only way that we can move forward with like a common thought of anything. We don't even have that anymore. We have what 30,000 channels plus us on the internet everywhere. Like, man, could you imagine that as a kid?
Person, do you?
Yeah, could you imagine that as a kid, Elisa May, when you had like I don't know about you guys, but I had a TV at one time where you had to turn the dial and you had what, like 5 options, and that was
bunny
about
ear
it.
antennas.
Yeah. Now it's like, holy shit, the info that's coming at us. Like like some of our biggest disagreements could all be stemmed off of like years and years and years of a specific line of whatever information we happen to see. Every choice and channel, every choice and information that we've agreed or believed or was more, what do you call it? Persuasive, you know what I mean? And so this is why we need to talk about ideas, because we're like, wait, you believe that? Wait, what? Why? Can you explain this? And there are some principles I stand on. If you cannot explain your perspective or point of view, then you probably need a little bit more information on it. It doesn't matter if you're on the right side, wrong side, truth side, false side, doesn't matter. If you don't know why you believe what you believe, you probably should look into it. And where you get your information, if you're one of those people that gets angry, if you're somebody that gets angry when you're asked, hey, where did you find that? You know, like, hello, that's a problem, a self problem there. That's
when
not.
You're in college and they ask you for a research paper on a topic, you have to come with 5 places from where you got it just for the research to know that those are
Sources,
facts.
yeah. And those are
At
little
least
little
talk about
things those are things I look at when I'm trying to like discern about between talking to people. And that's why this show is about explaining or sharing your experience on a topic, right? And so we could have our lived experience that I cannot argue with. Ty, I can't argue with your lived experience on a topic. We can get off into the weeds, into opinions, But if you and I both talk about like a time where we went and played, basketball or something, and your experience was different than mine, I'm like, huh, okay, that's new information coming to me that I would not have gotten if I didn't talk to someone else about what they did there. And that's what this show is about. And I appreciate it. We're about 2 hours, 20 minutes in, and I don't want to go for much longer. But if anyone has any last minute points, I really appreciate everyone coming up tonight, and the ladies with the painted faces. That's really awesome. Keep them coming. Any Thursday night, you're always welcome. We got plenty of boxes to fill. You know what? Yeah, have you guys heard the song on Weeds? The intro, "Little Boxes on the Hillside." I want to find out if I can pay for the rights to use that for People in the Box intro.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Come on, that would be so good, right? Like we're all in different boxes, different colors, different things, and it's just we're all being.
I think out of the box.
Yeah, we're trying to. Yeah, that's the play on words. That's the play on words. People in the boxes, because we're always being put in boxes, and we're literally in boxes on the screen. So there's different meanings there, but
I'm gonna be a cat in the box.
Yeah, your box has litter in it though.
I just can't litter in there.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
It's a litter box. There'll knows a guy that'll make you a song. Oh yeah, make you a song. Yeah, I could maybe have like a twist on it.
There you go.
Maybe like a different twist. But I like the old lady that sings it.
Well, you sing it then, just like that.
Yeah, I could do it. Just can't look at it. Oh gosh, what was I going to sing next? Oh my God. Yeah, something like that.
You could.
Yeah, I was close. I'm an amateur. Whatever we said earlier, I forgot the term. Impressionist. Yes. Yeah. I don't make a good impression, but I make a long impression. That's not right. That's not good. All right, everybody, it's been fun. Anyone wants to, Ty, where can we follow you? And then we'll just go along the line. Everyone pass it around like we know what we're doing.
Right here on Facebook, Ty Pond, or at Cannabis Connoisseurs.
Sure. All right, Red 6. Where can everybody follow you?
Boots to Bushes.
Boots to Bushes, the group on Facebook for veterans. Giveaways all the time. Check it out. Lisa May, what's up? Lisa May's got tons of followers.
You can follow my profile, Lisa Blasky. Yes, me,
right.
Lisa May.
All right, Kasia, what's up? Where can we follow the wonderful artworks of Kasia?
Just my page, just me. Yay.
Just little old me.
Kasia Lopez.
Kim Axel with the Legit Bean Review Remastered. Follow Kim Axel. Kim, how's the new group doing? What's the new group name exactly?
Legit Bean 2. I'm fucking can't get out. I'm out of restriction, and within 5 hours I was restricted again.
Oh wow.
Oh.
Let's go follow Kim Axel. Bean Dongo, what's the best spot to follow you?
Fire in the Hole 710 or Bean Dongo.
Bean Dongo.
Don't follow me too much, though. I've got enough stalkers.
Right. Not too hard. Not too hard.
On the stock.
Ashley's Garden on Facebook.
Garden, yeah. Or Ashley Huffman.
Yes.
Ashley Huffman, yes. All right, guys, it's been fun. Have a good weekend, and I'll have my son this weekend. We're gonna be doing things. He's got his new Wally costume. Wally,
Yeah.
There's a Wally 2 coming out soon. Yeah. Peace out, everybody.
Nice.
Thanks again. Everybody got to eat.
Nice.
Remember that.